Hi there, I'm Pat Strubbe, founder and owner of Preservation Specialists. And this is a great time of year to look back on the first half of 2022 in relation to the stock market and the economy. And my goodness, has this year been one of a kind. The US stock market, as measured by the S&P 500, dropped 23.6% from its all-time high, which is the worst performance since going all the way back to 1970. And we're constantly reminded that markets go up and markets fall, but it's not that often that we go through something that hasn't happened for over 50 years. So let's try and make some sense out of what's going on. When inflation soared late last year, it became evident that much of the stock market increases had been fueled by the Federal Reserve, who created far too much money and then left it in the economy for far too long. A recent Wall Street Journal article wisely points out the Fed had successfully prevented inflation since Paul Volcker back in the 1980s, but they abandoned their strategy starting in August of 2020 when they began to target inflation moderately above 2% and also began calling it transitory. So now the Fed has to fix the problem by raising interest rates and reducing its balance sheet. The fear, of course, is the Fed will go too far and put us into a recession. Our advisor team feels that while a recession is far from ideal, it is much better than uncontrolled inflation. Inflation is a cancer and it must be destroyed. So what does all this mean to your financial plan? As with most cases, it doesn't mean that we have to make huge changes because we are long-term, goal-focused, plan-driven investors. Sure, there may be some adjustments along the way. For example, our team's been warning for some time about the risk of bonds when rates are increasing. We also believe, as I mentioned last month, that real estate can be an especially helpful allocation in times of inflation. But even after 30 months of chaos, the pandemic and its several variants, the election that would not end, roaring inflation, the supply chain mess, war in Europe, and so on, we're all understandably exhausted. But this is why we plan. We cannot predict the future, but we can give you a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, confidence that you're prepared, peace of mind to ignore the noise when the news media is trying to scare you. As always, we're here if you have questions. It's a privilege to serve you.